Commander Diana Blackwood stood at the viewport of Orbital Station Helios, her dark eyes fixed on the vessel that would either make or break her career. The ship looked like it had been assembled by a blind engineer with a grudge against conventional design. Its hull was a patchwork of different materials, some sections appearing almost crystalline while others seemed to be crude metal plates. Exposed conduits snaked across its surface like mechanical veins, and its propulsion system looked like it belonged in a museum. "Beautiful, isn't she?" The voice belonged to Admiral Reginald Hayes, whose weathered face reflected decades of space service. He joined Diana at the viewport, hands clasped behind his back. "Sir, with all due respect, it looks like it was built from spare parts salvaged from a junkyard," Diana replied, keeping her voice carefully neutral. Hayes chuckled. "That's exactly what we want everyone to think, Commander. The Chimera is humanity's greatest deception, and you're going to be her first captain." The tour of the ship's interior left Diana speechless. Beyond the intentionally crude exterior lay systems that defied conventional physics. The bridge was a marvel of bioengineering, with neural interface stations that seemed to pulse with their own life. Holographic displays shimmered in the air, showing real-time data from systems that shouldn't exist for at least another century. "The secret isn't in the technology itself," explained Dr. Kira Patel, the ship's chief engineer, as she guided Diana through engineering. Her hands danced across control surfaces that responded to her touch like living tissue. "It's in how we use it. Every species we've encountered approaches technology linearly. They build on what came before, step by step, logic by logic. But not us," Diana said, beginning to understand. "Exactly." Kira's eyes lit up with enthusiasm. "Humans are messy thinkers. We make intuitive leaps. We combine things that shouldn't go together. We break rules simply because we don't like them. This ship is designed to work with that uniquely human trait." The Chimera's crew was as unconventional as their vessel. Lieutenant Rafael Torres, tactical officer, was a former artist who approached combat like a painting, all about composition and timing. Navigation officer Zora Patel had synesthesia. She could literally see gravitational fields as colors, making her uniquely qualified to pilot a ship that bent space in ways that shouldn't be possible. During their first week of trials, Diana learned why the ship was named Chimera. Like its mythological namesake, it was a creature of impossible parts working in harmony. The neural interfaces didn't just control the ship. They merged with the crew's consciousness in ways that alien minds couldn't handle. "Alien species evolved their brains for efficiency," explained Dr. James Norton, the ship's xenobiologist. "They eliminated redundancy, streamlined neural pathways. Humans, we're full of contradictions. We can hold opposing thoughts simultaneously. We dream, we imagine, we create art. That very inefficiency makes us perfect for this technology." The Chimera's first real test came during a routine patrol near the Carina Nebula. Long-range sensors detected an unknown vessel approaching at high speed. It was sleek, crystalline, and radiated power that made the Chimera's sensors scream in protest. "First contact scenario," Diana announced, settling into her command chair. The neural interface hummed to life, connecting her not just to the ship, but to her entire crew. She could feel Raphael's artistic appreciation of the approaching vessel's lines, Zora's chromatic perception of its gravitational wake. "They're scanning us," Raphael reported, amusement coloring his thoughts. "Based on their power fluctuations, I'd say they're not impressed." "Good," Diana smiled. "Status of our special modifications." "Ready and waiting." Kira's voice came through the neural link, tinged with pride. "They're seeing exactly what we want them to see, a primitive vessel barely worthy of notice." The alien ship drew closer, its crystalline structure catching the light of the nebula in ways that seemed designed to intimidate. A communication attempt came through, rendered in perfect universal standard by the ship's eye. "Unidentified vessel, you have entered restricted space. Your technological level has been assessed as inadequate for deep space travel. Prepare to be escorted back to your system of origin. Diana felt her crew's collective amusement through the neural link. This is Commander Diana Blackwood of the Earth ship Chimera. We appreciate your concern, but I assure you we're quite capable of managing our own affairs. The alien vessel's response was to power up weapons that, by all conventional logic, should have been able to vaporize the Chimera in seconds. Instead, they were about to learn why humanity's greatest strength was being perpetually underestimated. Show them why humans are the only ones who could ever pilot this ship, Diana commanded, and the Chimera came alive under her crew's collective will. The battle that followed would become legend, not just for its outcome, but for how it demonstrated the fundamental difference between human and alien approaches to technology. The Chimera moved in ways that defied physics, its seemingly crude exterior morphing and adapting as needed. What appeared to be exposed conduits channeled energy in patterns that scattered enemy targeting systems. The patchwork hull absorbed and redirected enemy fire in ways that left their attackers baffled. But it was the human crew's ability to think creatively, to make intuitive leaps and impossible decisions, that truly made the difference. Through their neural link, they didn't just operate the ship, they became the ship, each contributing their unique perspective to create something greater than the sum of its parts. As the alien vessel retreated, its crystalline structure scared but intact, Diana knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was about to learn why humans, with all their contradictions and inefficiencies, their dreams and their determination, were the only ones who could truly master the impossible. News of the Chimera's encounter spread through the galaxy like a quantum shockwave. In the crystalline chambers of the Vexari High Command, Supreme Admiral Ixel watched the sensor recordings for the 100th time, his iridescent scales shifting colors with agitation. "Impossible," he muttered, manipulating the holographic display with a clawed hand. The human vessel's movements defied every tactical prediction algorithm the Vexari had developed over centuries of space warfare. Run the analysis again. But it wasn't just the ship's capabilities that disturbed him. It was the crew's response times, their seemingly intuitive understanding of Vexari attack patterns. No species should have been able to counter their crystalline weaponry so effectively, especially not one as young as humanity. Meanwhile, aboard the Chimera, Commander Diana Blackwood and her crew were implementing upgrades based on their first encounter. Dr. Kira Patel had discovered that the neural interface could be pushed even further, allowing for microsecond reactions that bypassed conscious thought entirely. "It's like the ship is learning to anticipate our intentions," Kira explained during a briefing, her hands dancing through holographic schematics. "The more we use it, the more it adapts to our thought patterns. No two human minds are exactly alike, and the ship learns from that diversity." Lieutenant Rafael Torres had been working on new tactical applications, treating space combat like a four-dimensional canvas. The Vexari think in straight lines, he demonstrated, painting attack vectors in the air with gesture controls. "Their formations are beautiful but predictable. We can use that against them." The opportunity came sooner than expected. A distress call reached them from Research Station Omega, a remote human outpost studying quantum phenomena. The Vexari had sent a battle group, 5 crystalline warships, each larger and more advanced than the vessel they'd encountered before. "They're trying to draw us out," Navigation Officer Zara Patel observed, her unique perception of gravitational fields revealing hidden details in the enemy formation. "The way they're positioned, they're not just attacking the station, they're setting a trap." Diana smiled, feeling her crew's excitement through the neural link. "Then let's spring it. But this time, we show them something new." The Chimera approached the battle zone, appearing even more decrepit than before. Kira had modified the hull to look partially damaged, venting plasma in ways that suggested critical system failures. Through the neural link, Diana could feel Raphael's artistic appreciation for the deception. It wasn't enough to look vulnerable. They had to tell a story the Vexari would believe. The enemy commander took the bait. 3 warships broke off from their attack on the station, moving to intercept what they assumed would be an easy kill. Their crystalline hulls pulsed with energy, weapons charging but barely focused, showing their contempt for the apparently primitive vessel. What happened next would rewrite Vexari tactical doctrines. The Chimera's seemingly random plasma venting suddenly coalesced into a quantum field that shattered their targeting systems. The patchwork hull transformed, sections shifting and realigning to create geometric patterns that turned the enemy's own crystalline energy against them. But it was the human crew's collective consciousness, channeled through the neural interface, that truly demonstrated why they were unique. They didn't just react to Vexari tactics, they improvised, creating new strategies in the midst of battle. The ship moved like a living thing, each crew member contributing their perspective to create maneuvers that no single mind could have conceived. "They're adapting," Raphael reported, his artist's eye-catching subtle changes in enemy formation. "Their crystal resonance patterns are shifting." Diana felt it too. The Vexari were learning, their sophisticated AI systems analyzing and responding to each new trick, the Chimera revealed. But that was exactly what they'd planned for. "Now, Kira," Diana commanded. Through the neural link, she felt her chief engineer's fierce grin as she activated their final surprise. The Chimera's apparently primitive exterior suddenly erupted with quantum filaments, invisible until now, that reached out like living tendrils. Where they touched the crystalline hulls of the Vexari ships, they created interference patterns that turned their own energy inward. 2 enemy vessels shattered instantly, their perfect crystalline structures becoming their own worst weakness. A third managed to escape, its hull cracked and systems failing. The remaining 2 retreated to rejoin their battle group, but the damage was done. The Vexari had lost their aura of invincibility. As they moved to secure the research station, Diana received a priority transmission from Admiral Hayes. His holographic image appeared grave but satisfied. "Well done, Commander. But be warned, our intelligence suggests the Vexari are mobilizing their entire fleet. They're taking this personally now." "Good," Diana replied, feeling her crew's determination through the neural link. "Because we've barely started showing them what humans can do." The Chimera's neural interface hummed with shared purpose. They had demonstrated why humans were the only ones who could master this technology. Their very unpredictability, their ability to think in ways that defied logic and created new possibilities. But as they watched the Vexari battle group retreat, they knew this was just the beginning. The real war was about to begin, and humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their impossible ship or its advanced technology. It was the uniquely human ability to look at the impossible and ask, why not? In the depths of the Chimera's engineering section, Dr. Kira Patel made a discovery that would change the course of the war. She had been analyzing the neural interface data when she noticed something extraordinary. The system wasn't just adapting to human thought patterns, it was evolving with them. "Look at this," she explained to Commander Blackwood, projecting a holographic representation of the crew's neural patterns during their last battle. "Every time we use the interface, it creates new neural pathways. We're not just controlling the ship, we're teaching it to think like us." The implications were staggering. While other species relied on artificial intelligence and predictive algorithms, the Chimera was developing something entirely new, a hybrid consciousness that combined human creativity with quantum computing. The Vexari, meanwhile, had reached the same conclusion from a different direction. In their crystalline war rooms, Supreme Admiral Ixel reviewed reports from their best xenobiologists. "The human's neural structure is inefficient," one expert declared. "Their brains waste energy on imagination, dreams, emotional processing. By all logic, they should be inferior pilots." And yet, Ixel responded, his scales shifting to a deep purple of frustration. "They consistently outmaneuver our best commanders. Perhaps we have been approaching this wrong." The Vexari launched a new initiative, attempting to replicate the Chimera's neural interface technology. They created crystalline neural networks of incredible complexity, but every attempt to merge them with vexillary minds ended in failure. Their pilots, evolved for logical efficiency, couldn't handle the chaotic flow of information. Aboard the Chimera, the crew was experiencing their own evolution. During a routine training exercise, Navigation Officer Zora Patel discovered she could now see quantum probabilities as well as gravitational fields. Lieutenant Torres found his artistic perception extending into dimensions he couldn't even name. "It's like the ship is teaching us as much as we're teaching it," Diana observed during a staff meeting. Through the neural link, she could feel how each crew member's unique perspective had been enhanced and transformed by their connection to the ship. The breakthrough came during a skirmish with the Vexillary Patrol. As 3 crystalline warships approached, Diana felt something new through the neural interface, not just her crew's thoughts, but the ship's own emerging consciousness, shaped by months of learning from human minds. "Let it flow," she commanded, as the Chimera engaged the enemy. What followed wasn't just combat. It was a symphony of human intuition and quantum computing, each enhancing the other. The ship didn't just react to commands. It anticipated them, suggesting possibilities that even its crew hadn't considered. The Vexillary ships, for all their technological superiority, couldn't match this synthesis of human creativity and machine intelligence. Their logical tactics were met with moves that defied prediction, their precise formations disrupted by maneuvers that seemed to bend reality itself. "They're trying to adapt," Raphael reported, his tactical display showing the enemy ships attempting new formations. "But they can't match our improvisation." Through the neural link, Diana felt Kira's excitement as their chief engineer made another discovery. "Commander, the quantum filaments. They're not just weapons anymore. They're becoming sensory organs. The ship is developing its own way of perceiving space-time." The battle became a demonstration of this new capability. The Chimera moved through space like a dancer, each motion flowing naturally into the next. The quantum filaments reached out not just to attack, but to gather information, learning and adapting with each engagement. When the last Vexillary ship retreated, its crystalline hull spiderwebbed with cracks, Diana knew they had crossed a threshold. They had proven that the true power of technology wasn't in its raw capabilities, but in how it was used. Admiral Hayes's hologram appeared on the bridge, his expression both proud and concerned. "The Vexillary High Command has issued an ultimatum. They're demanding we share the neural interface technology, claiming it's too dangerous to be controlled by primitive minds." The crew's collective amusement flowed through the neural link. The Vexillary still didn't understand. The technology wasn't what made the Chimera special. It was the human ability to embrace chaos, to find patterns in randomness, to imagine possibilities that logical minds would never consider. "Send them our response," Diana commanded, feeling her crew's unity of purpose. "Tell them we're ready to demonstrate exactly why human minds are the only ones capable of handling this technology." As the Chimera prepared for what would surely be a major Vexillary offensive, Diana reflected on how far they had come. The neural interface had evolved beyond its original design, becoming something that could only exist through the partnership of human creativity and quantum technology. The Vexillary were about to learn that their greatest mistake wasn't underestimating human technology. It was underestimating the human capacity for growth, adaptation, and imagination. The next battle would prove once and for all why humanity's primitive minds were actually their greatest strength. The Vexillary Empire launched their offensive with overwhelming force. A fleet of 30 crystalline warships, led by Supreme Admiral Ixel's flagship, the Crystal Ascendant, emerged from quantum space near the Chimera's patrol route. Each vessel had been modified with new countermeasures specifically designed to combat the human ship's capabilities. "They think they've solved us," Diana observed through the neural link, feeling her crew's mixture of anticipation and determination. The Chimera's hybrid consciousness hummed with possibilities, quantum calculations merging with human intuition. The Vexillary's first attack revealed their strategy. Their ships arranged themselves in a crystalline lattice formation, creating a network that they believed would counter the Chimera's quantum filaments. Their weapons had been calibrated to penetrate the seemingly primitive hull, and their sensors were primed to track the ship's unique energy signature. But Diana and her crew had anticipated this. Through months of combat and integration with the ship's neural interface, they had developed something the Vexeri couldn't comprehend, a way of fighting that transcended traditional tactics. "Show them what human creativity really means," Diana commanded. The Chimera responded not just to their conscious commands, but to their collective unconscious, drawing on the crew's dreams, memories, and instincts. The battle that followed defied conventional physics. The Chimera moved through space like a poem made manifest, each action flowing from intuition rather than calculation. When the Vexeri lattice formation attempted to trap them, the ship responded with maneuvers inspired by Lieutenant Torres's knowledge of classical dance. Dr. Patel's quantum modifications, born from her childhood fascination with fractal patterns, created interference waves that turned the enemy's crystalline network against itself. Zara's synesthetic perception of space-time allowed them to navigate through dimensions the Vexeri hadn't even theorized. The final confrontation came as Supreme Admiral Ixel, his strategies failing, ordered his flagship to engage the Chimera directly. The Crystal Ascendant was a masterpiece of Vexeri engineering, representing the pinnacle of their logical, ordered approach to technology. But as the two ships clashed in the void, the fundamental difference between human and Vexeri thinking became clear. The Vexeri had built their technology to impose order on chaos. Humans had learned to embrace chaos, to surf its waves, to find patterns in its dance. Through the neural interface, Diana felt her crew's consciousness merge more completely than ever before. The Chimera wasn't just responding to their commands, it was participating in their creativity, adding its own evolving consciousness to their human intuition. "They're trying to predict our next move," Raphael reported, his tactical display showing the Vexeri AI systems struggling to calculate probabilities. "Then let's show them something that can't be predicted," Diana responded. Drawing on the collective imagination of her crew, she initiated a maneuver that existed only in possibility until they attempted it. The Chimera's quantum filaments wove through space-time itself, creating patterns that were both mathematical and artistic, scientific and magical. The ship moved in ways that defied not just physics but logic itself, expressing the pure human joy of creation. The Crystal Ascendant, for all its power and sophistication, couldn't adapt to what it couldn't understand. Its crystalline structure, designed for perfect resonance, shattered under the influence of chaos it wasn't built to handle. As the Vexeri fleet retreated, their invincible flagship reduced to glittering fragments, Diana opened a channel to the remaining ships. "This is Commander Diana Blackwood of the Chimera. You've seen what human technology can do when paired with human minds. We don't want war, but we will not be underestimated." The response came not from the fleet, but from the Vexeri High Command itself. They had finally understood what humans had been trying to show them. That true advancement came not from perfecting existing patterns, but from the courage to imagine new ones. The Chimera's neural interface hummed with the satisfaction of victory, but also with something more, the sense that they had demonstrated a truth about humanity itself. Their greatest strength wasn't their technology or their adaptability, but their willingness to dream beyond the boundaries of what others considered possible. As the ship set course for Earth, its hybrid consciousness alive with new possibilities, Diana knew they had changed more than just the balance of power in the galaxy. They had proven why humans, with all their beautiful inefficiencies and illogical creativity, were the only ones who could truly lead the way into an uncertain future. The end.